Tales of Iron 2, Whiskers of Winter is a triumphant marriage of genres. Oddbug Studios' latest effort promises brutal Souls-like combat in a Metroidvania action RPG, paired with a beautifully unique hand-drawn art style and a captivating world to go with it. Playing as a rat called Arlo, we gnawed our way through brutally punishing combat with the most ferocious of enemies, so that we could tell you if it managed to whisk us away. This is the XboxEra review for Tales of Iron 2. Right off the bat, I will say that you don't need to have played Tales of Iron 1 to be able to enjoy its sequel. Tales of Iron 2 works perfectly well as an entry point into the series. The original Tales of Iron has become a cult hit since its release in 2021. Its successor prioritises key player feedback to further refine the already fan-favourite formula. Tales of Iron 2 introduces several new mechanics to the series, a grappling hook for better traversal, tactical traps, and a more advanced combat system with elemental damage and spellcasting, deliver an experience that developer Oddbug Studio describes as evolution over revolution. Fans of the Witcher video game series will instantly recognise Geralt's voice actor Doug Cockle, reprising his role as the game's narrator. His distinctive tones accompany us on a journey through an icy tundra, a charming golden forest, an eerie wasteland, and more as we follow Arlo on a savage path for vengeance. You'll meet some weird and wonderful creatures on your journey to help you along this challenging road as you dodge, block, and parry your way to bloody victory with its Souls-like combat system. Tales of Iron 2 has so many interesting layers to it. There's a loot and crafting system that allows you to build fast travel posts and upgrade your home at Winter's Edge to unlock upgrades for Arlo to better equip him for the fight ahead. The gear management system is surprisingly granular. Your gear can vary in weight, which impacts your speed and damage output, as well as by type of elemental damage and resistance offered. I liked the depth of it, but I found myself having to jump into my inventory to tweak my gear often, depending on the type of enemy I encountered. Customizable loadouts could be a useful improvement here, but in fairness, loadouts could make min-maxing your equipment feel more restrictive and create a lot more work for the player. With that in mind, having to hot swap gear a lot feels like the lesser of two evils here, but it does interrupt the flow of gameplay. Every asset has been hand-drawn. The attention to detail throughout Tales of Iron 2 is truly remarkable, and I'm constantly distracted by how good the art direction is. Playing Tales of Iron 2 is like diving into an illustrated storybook, albeit a violent one. It's a remarkable achievement. It's full of character and quirky charm that makes this world feel really compelling. There are 7 different locations, each with a unique vibe. The game even has a day-night cycle, so lighting changes throughout your experience too. There are dozens of enemy types and handcrafted NPCs that you'll encounter, as well as monstrous beasts for Arlo to slay in the form of giant beast hunts. Again, every asset used is delivered with this hand-illustrated finish that just oozes craft, attention to detail and care. I have to give Oddbug Studio its flowers for the level of polish delivered by a 5-person team. Tales of Iron 2, Whiskers of Winter is a really impressive achievement. We can't talk about Tales of Iron 2 without addressing the game's difficulty, because its brutal Souls-like combat should not be underestimated. The default Tales of Iron difficulty makes the game feel surprisingly hard. Combat is a delicate dance of timing, parrying and dodging. Encounters with multiple enemies and different attack types coming towards you can turn the intensity up on high difficulties very quickly. If you're not wearing the right type of armour, dealing the right type of damage, or you just get caught by an attack you're not expecting, be prepared to see your health take a sizable hit. You're limited by how much healing juice you can carry, which, as far as I could gather, is made from bugs, berries, and quite possibly beer? Tales of Iron 2 is charmingly quirky in that regard. As a side note, I really appreciated the world building throughout my playthrough. Character dialogue is actually just a series of illustrations in speech bubbles. It's funny how a game can feel so savage with regards to difficulty and still bring home a delightful sense of whimsy and wit. Trust me though, it won't take long for Tales of Iron 2 to remind you that it's not for the faint-hearted. That's not a complaint from me though, far from it. Combat felt great and that inner glutton for punishment wanted more of it, but having a full-time job alongside a review embargo doesn't exactly work in my favour for a game that's supposed to be hard, so shamelessly, I opted for the game's fairy tale mode, otherwise known as the easy setting. Around halfway through the game, I started craving the challenge of the Souls-like experience that Tales of Iron 2 offers, so I jumped back into the game's default Tales of Iron difficulty. Combat felt challenging but rewarding. I liked the step up, and it definitely felt like there was more at stake moving from one save point to the next, keeping an eye on when I could next top up my bug/berry/beer juice. Even after playing through the game's story, kitting myself out with some decent gear and now being fully versed with Tales of Iron 2's combat system, mistakes or overzealousness can both still lead to a bitter end. I could feel that pulsing hunger exposing my inner risk versus reward system that drives players through Souls-like experiences. I found myself pushing one step too far to land an extra attack on a boss called the Bird Beast, who taught me a cruel lesson for losing myself in the want to inflict maximum damage, by taking my health all the way down to 1 HP in just one hit. I persevered, burning the midnight oil to take down the Bird Beast, and that sense of triumph made the heavy bags under my eyes the following day feel completely worth it. Providing you don't mess up your combat cues, Tales of Iron difficulty feels appropriately balanced and is the setting I'd recommend if you want a challenge and you're not working to a review embargo deadline. With that said, in the interest of giving you a thorough and fair review, I finished the rest of the game on Fairy Tale mode. Bloody Whiskers mode is the game's highest difficulty setting. It steps up the pace of combat as well as enemy aggression and damage output. It's a noticeable jump that Tales of Iron 2 recommends avoiding for your first playthrough. I will absolutely be jumping back into this game on Tales of Iron difficulty, starting with a fresh save, because the combat and gear grind is extremely satisfying. If you do end up finding the intensity of the game's default setting too much though, I really would recommend Tales of Iron 2's Fairy Tale mode. Oddbug Studio boldly combines the charming whimsy of a hand-illustrated children's book with the brutal violence and storytelling inspired by the likes of Game of Thrones. Tales of Iron 2 Whiskers of Winter is a thoroughly enjoyable Metroidvania with detailed action RPG mechanics that still offers challenging Souls-like combat without feeling like a punishing ride on its easiest mode. On its normal and hard difficulties, the game offers a grind that will leave you feeling tested at best and a crying mess at very worst. It's an extremely well put together experience that I can wholeheartedly recommend. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this review, please make sure you hit like and subscribe. If you really love what XboxEra does, consider supporting us on Patreon. Just head to patreon.com/XboxEra where you'll find a bunch of member perks and exclusive content. You can also find me on Blue Sky and YouTube at Deadly Headley. Thanks again for the support, we'll see you next time.